Hello, everyone. We are here at JFocus in Stockholm, Sweden. I'm Melissa McKay. I'm a developer advocate with JFrog. And today I'm here with Barry O'Reilly. Would you like to tell our audience who you are, where you come from, and what you're doing here at JFocus?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Barry. I'm based here in Stockholm. And this is my first JFocus and honestly my first Java conference. So I'm an ex-Microsofter. Nowadays I run my own company and I'm a researcher and a trainer of software architects. And I'm just completing a PhD in complexity science and software engineering. And that's what I'm here at JFocus to talk about.
Wow, this is incredible. I always welcome to the Java community every new member. This is amazing. I'm glad that you're here, that you made it. Your first time at JFocus. Is this your first time in Stockholm?
No, I live here.
You live here
I live here in Stockholm, so I'm originally from Ireland, which you can probably hear. But I've been here for a long time, so I'm kind of gone native.
So this is the first time this conference has been held in May.
Okay.
I hear it's pretty chilly in February when this normally happens.
Yes, it can be pretty chilly in May as well. So, but the sun's come out, you know. There's been 6 months of darkness and we're starting to feel good. There's a bit of spring.
It's beautiful. It is beautiful here. This is my first time.
Okay.
So I might be looking you up later to get the lay of the land and find some things to do. And not that that's going to be difficult. This is a beautiful city.
Yeah.
So here at the conference, you had a workshop that you did. That was on the first day?
Yes.
How did that go for you?
That was great. It was a really good reception. I thought I was made feel very welcome despite not having that background in Java, coming from the other side of the industry, so to speak. It was good to see a lot of people there, a lot of engagement, a lot of questions. I spent a lot of my time speaking to software architects and enterprise architects, so it was kind of cool to be able to go deeper and talk about the mathematics and stuff that I'm doing in my research, the kind of thing that isn't usually well received at architecture conferences or enterprise architecture conferences. So it's good to be down in the guts of the code.
Awesome. Yes, those workshops are really valuable. And this was 4 hours, right?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So you have time to really get into the details and.
Yes, not enough time, unfortunately. Unfortunately, but there's always more. But yeah, it was a great experience. I'm looking forward to giving the kind of compressed, shorter version this afternoon.
This afternoon you have a talk at 2?
At 2, yes.
Okay.
On something called residuality theory, which is a mixture of complexity science and software engineering that lets us know how do we make decisions about structure whenever we don't actually know what's happening in the wider environment. We don't understand the business, we don't understand the market, we don't really understand the people, we're constantly surprised. How do we build a software structure before the structure of the actual enterprise reveals itself? And so we use network science and complexity science and we leverage probability to help us build structure that will actually last.
Interesting. Yeah, this sounds like, it sounds really interesting stuff. It just amazes me that all this time, you know, I've been in the industry for 25 plus years now, and we're still coming up with new things. We're still figuring out the original problem, which a lot of software is a people issue, understanding people's behavior and how they make decisions. I just find this interesting. There's always something new to learn. And you just said, you know, coming into a conference, a type that you've never been to before, a Java conference, and you're learning new things as well. And yet you have a PhD and had a ton of experience yourself. Yes, one of the things I love the most about this industry is there's always something new.
Yeah, so one of the things that I was talking about on Monday, which is I think very new for a lot of people, is the philosophical roots of software engineering. Something which I've been forced to think about and do work with. Is why do we think the way we do? Why do we solve problems the way we solve problems? And a lot of us share the same background, right? We studied STEM subjects at university, and we're very informed by Enlightenment thinking and by logic, obviously in the computer science industry. But most of our time is spent wrestling with this social world, which doesn't follow those rules, which has a completely different set of ideas and epistemologies and different ways to how do we know what we know in this environment. And if we take that knowledge from computer science and we try to model human systems as if they were components or chips, we get into some very strange situations. And one of the key things of becoming a good software architect is understanding that we have to switch between these two worlds all the time, and that causes a lot of confusion and a lot of flux, and it makes our work difficult.
Yes.
And almost everything that's stressful in our work is on the boundary of these two worlds. And so I think it's really cool to see that I can come from my background, which is a very different background than perhaps a Java developer would have experienced in terms of technology, and talk about these things and have 100 people in a room who work with a different platform say, yes, we see this too, and that's fantastic.
Common pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all have that in common. Yeah, it's amazing. I know I've talked with engineers in the past. I remember one in particular said to me, I could get so much done if I just didn't have to deal with people.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty amazing. What do you think are the biggest challenges in making any shifts, changes in organizations to make this possible for teams, for them to be able to, do their work in a less stressful way?
Yeah, so the biggest challenge I find is that our way of thinking is so ingrained that and there's a pressure on us. There's a pressure on us as software architects and engineers to be logical, to be structured in our work, to be analytical, and a pressure to present our work and our thinking in that way. And a lot of times what we do is we run on gut feeling, and our component decisions and our platform decisions are made on gut feeling. And we're made to feel bad about that. And you say we should be structured and we should be analytic and we shouldn't make decisions based on gut feeling. But that this entire industry, every dollar of profit, it runs on our gut feeling, and that gut feeling is worth something. And we devalue it because we look at it through this lens. And so the biggest problem that I see is getting people to understand this and understand that gut feeling is just a gut feeling because we haven't got a science to express it yet, and it's still very, very valuable. And so my research is working on how do we express this? How do we get to the point where an architect or software engineer can explain that gut feeling, that decision making, which they know is right, in a more structured way that's acceptable to the culture that we've built, where we expect analytical and structured and logical answers to questions and problems that aren't in any way structured or logical.
This is such an interesting concept. I may have to drop into your talk later. This whole idea that the way we feel about things, even though it appears it's not based on data, maybe it actually is. And we just don't have it yet. Like you said, we just don't know how to express it.
Yeah, it's about creating the right structures, and that's what my research is doing, is creating structures that allow us, you can think of them as registers, to take a bit of thinking and put it here, and another bit of thinking and put it here, and then come back to them later on. Instead of trying to solve everything all at once, where we then have to fall back on instinct and gut feeling, but give people a bit more space and a bit more time. And realize that we're not quite home yet, and those things that we were taught at university don't describe the entire world, and they don't describe it adequately, and we're on a journey, and this will continue to grow. We'll continue to find new ways to express the social problems that we're trying to solve with software.
This is really interesting. Like I said, I might drop into your talk later.
Yeah. Good.
It is coming up at 2 for you, and you've been a speaker in the past, have been presenting and stuff. Are you nervous?
I'm not nervous generally. I've been speaking for 10 years. I'm a little bit nervous that I'm going to get everything that I want to talk about into the 15 minutes. So I've got to go off now and maybe sacrifice some slides.
Right.
But I'm not nervous, not at all.
I remember, this is for new speakers. If there's any new speakers out there that are interested in getting into it, you have a lot of experience, 10 years. I have a few years experience, and I remember one of the challenges at first was I was terrified about a 30-minute talk. And
Yeah.
now, like you said, you get so excited about sharing this information, and there's just not enough time.
Yeah.
And you have a lot to give.
Yeah.
So appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. Do you have anything fun planned?
There's a speakers dinner
Yes.
tonight, so I'm planning on doing that. And I've got some friends who've come from other places to speak here.
Excellent.
And it'll be cool to meet up with them and meet and learn, meet more people, learn to know more people in this community, which is a huge chunk of our industry,
Yes.
which I haven't really been exposed that much to. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Exciting.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you, Barry. Appreciate your time. This has
Yeah.
been wonderful talking with you. I hope that we run into each other again at the dinner tonight.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.